we go with Georgia Southern is going to take on Wisconsin here. And Wisconsin right now, 20-point favorite. The total 65.5. The reported steam has come in here on Wisconsin for the most part and on the over. But, man, it just seems like it's gone a little bit too high for me right now. Look, we were here on Sunday, and I think I'll be here again tomorrow going over those early circa numbers. Now, obviously, they must have misfired on this one a little bit. They opened at 58.5. I'm reading it right off the line screen. I mean, that could have been had for anyone. Someone had to hit it. And it was quickly bet up, though, to 63.5 as one of the biggest movers. It went all the way to 67, and now it's here at 65.5. So where is this one going to head? I think I'm going to come back on the under here in this one. Look, I think Wisconsin, both Georgia Southern, look, they've looked really good, right, on offense so far. But last week, Wisconsin had some problems with some fumbles. They'll probably get 5 touchdowns or so, maybe get into the 40s here. Georgia Southern, still going to be tough for them. I mean, could they really get 3 touchdowns, as that total might suggest? It just seems tough for me to think that it's going to get all the way into the mid-60s here on that big look. I trusted the move there. I would have liked to have gone over 58.5. That was never happening. Any comments from the chat here on this one? We've got Wisconsin and under, and Ron, he likes it pretty strong here on Georgia Southern. So, all right, yeah, I've got the under here as my play on the show. So I'm with Thomas in this one. Let's keep it moving here. Wake Forest and ODU in this one. And this one's been a pretty dramatic move. Wake Forest opened considerably higher, about 17 on the circus show that we did. That's at 2 Eastern and 11 Pacific on Sunday. I actually come on an hour earlier, watching NFL, kind of narrating the highlights, giving out, kind of said what my plays were after the games kind of got started. And then when we got to 2 o'clock Eastern, 11, then I give out the lines on circuit and the first line move. So Wake Forest opened 17 and was bet all the way down to 13.5, and now it is at 14 here. We'll say this, Mindy and I like the side. It's behind the paywall, promo, and I'm going to give out the under, though, here in this one at 61 right now between these two teams. Sure, I mean, Wake Forest is going to have the upper hand here. 2 touchdown favorite. Old Dominion, can they really get much more than maybe 3 touchdowns here and a field goal or 2 in this one? I think it has a tendency that they're going to have a little bit of a rough time moving up, step up in class here. I mean, obviously with it being a 2 touchdown dog. So, look, Wilson's a pretty good quarterback. They played a wild game last week, 69 points, but against Wake Forest, I think it's going to be a lower scoring game than that. I like the original number better, so I'm going to go under with Wake Forest and Old Dominion here, and Thomas agrees with me. All right, I've always got Thomas here to help me along with, if anything, Thomas is, I don't say playing the role of Mindy, giving me a play to see if we can. I think Thomas, keep track of our consensus today. I'd be interested in that. How about Liberty and Buffalo here in this one? Liberty on the road, 3-point favorite, and the total here is 54. Buffalo, they're always involved in some close calls, aren't they? They play, hey, you want exciting football, just watch the Buffalo team play. They're always involved in some excitement. Last week's game to Fordham was no exception. Liberty obviously looked pretty decent last week. They're pretty bad though. I don't think they're great as road favorites. I mean, I'm interested in Buffalo. It was 4.5. It opened 3, was bet up to 4.5. Action came back in on Buffalo. The steam came in reportedly on the under here. It went up to 54. Opened 54, went up to 56.5, and was bet back down quite frankly, to 56.5. So I'm going to take Buffalo in this one, plus the points here. Maybe I'd have a tendency to trust that steam a little bit, but I know there's some really good handicappers that like the over in this game. So may just sit it out, or I like Buffalo here, plus the points at home against Liberty. And Thomas says he likes Buffalo as well. So, all right. Thomas and I are going to have our own premium picks here, it sounds like. Appreciate you. How about Louisville and Indiana? In this one, Louisville, they opened 11 and now have been bet all the way down to 9.5. It was 9, and maybe a little bit more came back on Louisville. I was surprised by the move, I think. I mean, I think Louisville is a double-digit favorite. It's not a terribly big move, but it's enough to make me feel a little bit more confident because I do want to play Louisville here. I will say, though, Mindy and I are involved in the total. It's behind the paywall now. This one open 55.5, was as high as 58.5, and has been totally slammed down here to 50. But this game is being played in Indianapolis, not necessarily a neutral site, but that is something to note. And I prefer Louisville here to win this game by double digits. I mean, Hoosiers they don't exactly are, even as a dog. They're not always a great cover. So maybe Louisville wins this one by 2 touchdowns at least in this game. All right, Louisville's had some decent numbers for sure. Okay, and let's see who we're on here. Thomas also likes Louisville. Takia says, "What time is that game?" It's at noon. It's at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. So, Ron, I think the audience is lower, to be frank, and also I think college football, I've noticed not a lot of opinions necessarily. Considering I would think we got 1/3 the viewership, 1/3 the opinions, and also I'm not looking at any top 25 teams here. We've already covered those. That could be something as well. I mean, look at some of these matchups, but I'm giving you picks for sure. UMass and Eastern Michigan. Eastern, I guess I have the line. I usually mark the favorite. I don't want to confuse anybody here. I don't know why I did that. Other than I've been up all night working on football and picks and my high school coverage, of course, too. I love my high school football. I watch a bunch of high school games on closed circuit cameras. And on Friday night, I'm a football. I'm not lying. I think you all believe me. All right. Just from my area mostly, and a little bit of Las Vegas area now. Once in a while, big national matchups, but only the ones that hit ESPN, really. I go searching out. Okay. Eastern Michigan here, minus. Not betting, though. We're not betting. I just, I like to know. This is how I operate. Eastern Michigan here is a 7-point favorite against UMass in this one. And this has been quite a move. This one opened Eastern Michigan as high as 12, so it's been a pretty big move on UMass. I was interested in UMass. At 12, I was still interested in UMass as a premium after the move at 10. But things get in the way. I've got a lot going on. I'm not as professional as I'd like to be, right? As far as when to fire and how to fire and know if I'm one, But I do like Massachusetts, and I will give them out here as a free pick on the show, +7. I think it's a game that they'll compete in and be in right to the wire here in this one. So, Mindy, I will say this: Mindy did give me the under. She said she likes the under in this game with UMass and Eastern Michigan. So, did get a few plays. I got plays from her. Some of them, like I said, we've already agreed on some, and we got it. We're going to have them up there at Tony's pick. So hopefully you'll respect that. If you want the plays, go ahead and get them. But If not, here's one of her plays. She's on the under in this one. The Steam came in on the under in this one. And I'm just a little leery of the move just because it's getting close. I guess maybe I could kind of get behind it, but if it gets any lower, I'm not sure. I actually was thinking it's getting too low. It opened 54.5. It's now 50. And I was kind of leaning over actually, but probably not enough for a premium. Mindy sent me the under. That had me concerned, so I'm going with UMass here. The side that I like strong actually, but I just feel like I'm not getting a good enough price for a premium in this game. Hello to Gary, nice to see you today. And yeah, Thomas, right? I look at him. I see. Then the Steam move comes up, and I'm, probably watching too many high school games, maybe. I don't know. Ray, hello. Trey, hello. How are you guys doing? Thank you. Ron says Eastern sucks. Take UMass. Okay, good. So Ron and I got one together here. I'll take UMass. Like I said, the 10 points was great. And I'll just go with it here on the show. They're good picks, man, but the best picks I'm saving for the, you know how it works. Florida International going up against Connecticut. Mindy's not here. I lose my mind. Connecticut -7 here against Florida International. I do have a premium pick actually on this game, so won't dive too much into it, but I am going to give out the total here in this one. It's dipped pretty significantly. It opened 47.5 and is now down to 42. So I think it goes over here. Look, the Steam came in on the under. I'm sure. Look where the storms are now. There's weather right now in Connecticut, remnants of a tropical storm, and that slammed this total down. But with these two teams, I'm still going to trust them to get enough points to get. This would be 6 touchdowns on the nose or 5 touchdowns, and maybe need 3 field goals to get over. But conditions can play a little bit of. Would you like over if it was 42 and there wasn't any rain? I think probably would. It's in my mind. I know there's weather up there. I'm not there. Who's up there? Do I have Connecticut, New York, tri-state? Do I have anything coming on down here? Yeah, Connecticut's even low, right, Tom? I'm just saying Connecticut is, Massachusetts is further north, but is there, still weather up and down that sideline, that seaboard? I'm sure there is. So, okay. And, of course, that is good to know, though. So, anyways, I'm on the over. Here's my play. I'm just going to move on from this one. Like I said, I got a premium this one in that 7-pack. So, please check it out. Tulane and Southern Mississippi here. Tulane, big favorite on the road. 12-point favorite at Southern Miss. Mindy and I have one behind the paywall. Please get our package today. We have the side in this one. So, I'm not going to delve too much into it. The Steam came in on the under here, but I want to come back on the over. It opened 51.5, went as high as 52.5. Was now low. This is a low point for this total at 48.5. There's a lot of support out there, right, for Tulane, I would think, right now. Look, they're a double-digit favorite here in this one, but still facing a Southern Miss squad. Everybody, complaining about Tulane, letting them down last week. I know a lot of sharp people coming back on Tulane, but, I would think that Southern Miss can compete and get some points here. And we know that Pratt didn't play last week, and we hope that he's a good strength here for Tulane. But it is something certainly to think about as well with his recent injury. So right now, the current line, you see it there, 11.5 or so, and the total is at 49. And Pratt, we still list him as questionable. So that has to be considered as well. I'm going over in this one. I'm sure that's why the total has gone down, but we'll see. I think Tulane can still, produce here, but they really didn't have anything much going in the second half. But that was against Ole Miss. We'll see what happens in this one. Southern Miss coming off a 50-point loss or so. What was it? 53 to FSU. So we know FSU is great. If anything, people are going to see that. But I'm on the over here in this one. Tulane and Southern Miss. Ron Hahn here on Southern Miss. But here's Tulane. Yeah, Thomas's are both used to be all right, but Tulane's have their moments too, and Southern Miss had a little bit of glory maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. They made a little bit of a resurgence. All right, let's keep it moving here. Very little rain. Thank you, Peter. I'm glad it went north. And they're going to get some weather up there off of Canada, certainly. Georgia State here on the road, down to a 7-point favorite here in this one against Charlotte. Now, this one was as high as 10, but now we're seeing these 7s out here with Georgia State favored in this one on the road. And Mindy did give me her selection in this game, and it's on Charlotte. And I don't mind Charlotte, but the 10, couldn't get it, missed out. I think it's probably a touchdown game here, so I couldn't get with her necessarily on that. I will be on the over here. This is a low point for this total. It was as high. It opened 52.5 and went up to 55.5 and now back down to 52. So I want to go over in this one with Georgia State and Charlotte. The reported steam did come in on the under, so it was an opening move, and then they slammed it. So could have been a head fake. Takia's on Charlotte in this one with Mindy. All right. And how about South Alabama going up against Oklahoma State here in this one? And I'm showing right now for Oklahoma State, they're down to a 7-point favorite. This one opened as high as 9.5 off that Circa opener, and it's been steady to South Alabama so far. The total opened 46.5, did go as high as 49.5, and now is starting to come back down. The reported steam did come in on the over in this one, but I'm interested on the under here in the South Alabama game. And that's the way I'm going to end up going in South Alabama and Oklahoma State is go under. Reported steam came in on the over. As far as the side is concerned, I wasn't too interested necessarily just yet. May not even be involved publicly. I'll be involved some way. Jeremy's here today. He's on some dogs. Ron, Mindy on that Charlotte game was on Charlotte. I'm not going to signal her out if she's on something that I'm on a premium. I'm not going to say necessarily. Just giving out, some of the plays that stood out to me that I just couldn't get with her on, that I didn't necessarily, I'm not fading her or anything like that. Part of our betting partnership is taking all of her plays seriously into account. Here's Oklahoma State for Thomas. All right. Ron's going over as well. All right, San Jose State and Toledo. So you can see why. Look at some of these matchups here. These are all great games. Come on, San Jose State. They're a little better right now. They're looking pretty decent, pretty okay here and there. They took some steam here in this one, but it opened Toledo -6, went all the way up to -9, and that's maybe where the sharps started to come on a little bit here. But look, it's 7.5. I'll buy it all the way down. I mean, I might even buy 2 points here and get it to 5 or so, but I like Toledo's situation much, much better here than I do for San Jose State. The reported steam did come in on the over. It opened 53.5. There isn't much value, I would think, to that. I think I would prefer the over here, but to me, I just don't. San Jose State, going across a couple of time zones. I mean, look, there's been a nice improvement here for the Spartans, but I'm not sure it's going to look what they did last week, right? They lost to Illinois, and then they came back and beat Texas Southern, 50-0 in the first half, and won the game 71-3. So, yeah, San Jose State beat Cal Poly, but against Oregon State. I mean, that was Oregon State. They definitely were outgained by a couple hundred yards. So, I'm going to take Toledo in this one. There'll be spots for San Jose State, but let's get them back in the mini conference there. Let's get them back to the minor leagues. This is, they're playing the MAC, but we know that these two conferences have a bit of a standoff a little bit when it comes to bowl games. They face each other a lot, and it's just tough to go into some of the MAC situations. I like Toledo here. I like Toledo by double digits. All right, and maybe you guys had something on this. Toledo here by a touchdown. Hey, let's talk about it. Thank you for your plays today here on the show. Appreciate you very much. Nathan on Toledo. Thomas, hello, Nathan. Great to see you last night. All right, James, Madison, and Troy. You can, hopefully, my friends, you guys will measure my confidence level when I say it, right? James, Madison, and Troy. This total open 50s all the way down to 46.5. And the steam came in on the under. Also came in on Troy. It was 3 and went all the way down to a pick'em. And then they hit Troy and boomed it back up to 2.5. But it hasn't necessarily, I don't think, touched back to 3 yet, which is interesting because it's actually juiced to Madison here a little bit. Of course, Madison had that game against Virginia last week. And for Troy here, look, they did take the steam. Might not be a bad spot for Troy, but I just prefer the over here. If it's down to 46.5, I think it's going to end up going over now. Actually, was not quite strong enough for me. The move has helped. I mean, I thought the 7 touchdowns is fine, and I'm going to go over Madison and Troy here. Lovable plays. Nice to see you. This is what keeps you young. I love this night, waiting for those games. The Saturday games. Nathan on Troy here. Takia's on Troy. Thanks for your comments. Hello to Matt D. One more here for you. We're going to get into the backyard brawl here. West Pittsburgh and West Virginia. So, and this will be the last one. Look, other games. I mean, we previewed. I like some of these games. I got premiums on with. And we covered the other games. So, all right, backyard brawl here, Pittsburgh and West Virginia. West Virginia favored in this one. Look how this one has moved, though. Man, Pittsburgh was as high as -2, and all the action here has been on West Virginia, it seems like, this week. It's been just a steady flow, if you will, to the Mountaineers. It feels like not necessarily an avalanche, but it's just been slow and sure, and mostly 2.5s right now. I guess there's some 3s out there as well currently. So not too concerned about the injury report. I guess it's just been, what do you guys, what is it? Did I miss the news? Did I miss the cue? Or is it just the rivalry here with West Virginia? I don't know, but I like the over. Steam came in on the under. I'm not worried. It went up. It went up. I was worried. And the only thing that has me worried is that it got slammed this low, because it went up to as high as 56.5. I think it was FanDuel that had a 56.5. And I never got a hold of that, but here at 47, this is kind of a low point. I want to go over here in this one with Pittsburgh and West Virginia. I just would expect this to be crazy tonight, quite frankly. I know the perception might be that the defense is here, but I just feel like in this type of rivalry, this game, this atmosphere tonight, where these teams stand currently, and just seems like the 50s made more sense here. Um, West Virginia's had some problems giving up points for sure, big time, but um, Green's been sharp, and yeah, Pittsburgh lost to that Cincinnati team, but I don't know. Are we thinking Cincinnati's pretty decent, huh? All right. I mean, Cincinnati ran all. Pittsburgh couldn't run the ball, but I think they'll have better. They should have better success here, right? Since he's playing some defense too. I'm going over here in this one, over 47, Pittsburgh and West Virginia. And we do have a few plays from the chat. Looks like Jeremy, West Virginia money line here. And Nathan says, got the big rivalry. Gonna lean to West Virginia here. The worst or the best, Ron, right? We want to take advantage of those bad lines. I'm in Vegas, so I'm limited to Vegas, and maybe some of those good offshores that know what they're doing, and I'm not going to say anything. All right, and Ron likes the over big time here. So, okay, like I said, that steam came in on the under, so that's what kind of had me concerned a little bit. And believe me, my numbers kind of pointed out, oh, you don't use fish. So that means that maybe you were crushing them and you got booted, because if they have the worst lines, we want, meaning like it's easy, or the worst lines like it's hard. Anyway, all right. So my numbers kind of indicated, if it was 56, maybe I'll just throw it out, but not at 42. I don't know what's going on. 47, I mean, but I would have to think that what Pittsburgh, is going to score in certainly 4 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns, right? And West Virginia is going to counter. I mean, let's get back to the tradition. Let's get back to those barn burners tonight in Morgantown.